everyone. As you can see, we're getting ready for the Halloween season, and I thought it would be appropriate for me to share the real fears of homesteading. Before you proceed, know that these are in fact true horror stories from the Grateful Ambition Homestead. Having chickens on the homestead means when you forget to pick your eggs, your chickens turn into cannibals and destroy all of those delicious butt nuggets that they're supposed to be laying for you. Or when your brave bride decides to chase down and beat a fox with her very own slipper in order to retrieve the chicken that fox had planned for dinner. The real fears of chicken keeping is when you forget to let your chickens out to free range before work, and when you arrive to that coop door on that fateful afternoon, your roosters are ready with feather and spur to strike vengeance against your lack of discipline. Or awaking to the screaming of chickens as they're getting brutally murdered by a pack of wild raccoons, and your only defense is your Crocs, your underwear, and your rifle. Now chickens, that's understandable. They are small dinosaurs, but ducks would never be so scary. The worst part of it all is when the drakes in the spring get a really bad case of parasites and your wife comes in and says, "What are we gonna do about this big worm that came out of the drake?" And you have to tell her, it's not a worm. These foul birds are always ready to strike with their nuclear waste, and anytime you attempt to grab these little birds, while they may seem cute, they are ready to retaliate with their fecal missiles. Nothing is scarier than the death squeal of a big old sow as she, in an attempt to get the last banana peel off of the woven wire fence, gets her tusks stuck within the wire. I've never had my stomach drop so quickly than when we were having a nice family dinner, and I glance out across our beautiful property and see a horde of pigs racing toward our neighbor's garden. The idea of the delicate relationship that we all have with our neighbors being crushed by hundreds of pounds of rampaging bacon as it tramples through their garden had me gasping for breath as I grabbed the feed cup, I grabbed the sorting boards, and ran barefoot out there to retrieve our pigs. Or when you realize you have stopped traffic on the county road because your largest boar has escaped from his paddock and has decided to go check the mail. Well, it's not so pleasant when you realize that your kids are out in the backyard doing donuts around the hives with their power wheels. In an attempt to be the hero, you race toward the hives, yelling and screaming and waving your arms to get their attention. And of course, by that point, they've traveled on to somewhere else, and you are met with an angry swarm of bees. Or the time you walk down into the basement and you hear a hum and you realize somebody forgot to close the door, and now you have a swarm of bees on your ceiling trying to build a new hive. There you'll be in early spring with all of your starts planted in the garden in nice neat little rows with the weed barrier down and the trellises up high. And then you got the family reunion. In what seems like an unnatural amount of time, the marauding moles, the sapsuckers, the mites and caterpillars all have wreaked havoc on your precious oasis. Or how about when your 5-year-old son says, "Daddy, the yard is glistening like a lake." And because he's 5, you ignore him, thinking that he's drank too much apple juice before bed, only to find out the next morning you have lost 30,000 gallons of water from a faulty hydrant. But if you're really smart, you'll plant an orchard, and that way your produce is up high, away from the bugs and away from the weeds. After 5 long years of waiting and grooming and pruning these wonderful apple trees, you finally get 6 glorious apples on your apple tree. And it's on that warm August Saturday morning that you plan on going out to reap the bounty that is your 6 apples on the apple tree. You go down to retrieve your bounty that you've worked so hard for, only to find the mutilated bodies of apples scattered across the yard, and evidence of those horrid raccoons lay among them. Thank you for listening to these horrors on the homestead. And if you've got a good horror story to share, I want to see it in the comments below. Whether you're brand new at homesteading or a seasoned veteran, there's always ways to improve. So welcome to the Grateful Ambition Homestead channel, where I hope we can all learn together. How's it going, guys? We've been out here all night on the homestead looking for the next video to pop up here on the Grateful Ambition Homestead channel. If you have found that video, please end this search by clicking it. And also, while you're there, give us a like and subscribe if we've earned your subscription.